All right, motherfuckers. The Miami Dolphins are back in first place after collecting a win today against the Texans, surviving that god awful second half. Of course, we're going to talk about it. Um, I don't know when this video is going to come out because I got to go to this fucking birthday party. Family obligations, you know. It is what it is, but it's worth it for the family. But if it was the Dolphins game, then it might not be worth it. Dolphins game takes precedence over anything around these parts. But the Miami Dolphins get the win 30-15. Lots to talk about, man, because it was a tale of two halves. Um, and the thing I want to make note of is I don't want to overreact to this second half because, I mean, they took two out early. They really did let their foot off the gas, man. But I think at the same time in the first half, they made it clear how much better of a team than the Texans they were. And so overall, I mean, you're back in first place. Um, your quarterback's all right. You got some injuries on the O line, which is concerning. Austin Jackson hurt again, and Armstead, which I think is more important, hurt again with a pec injury. So hopefully that's not too serious. I'm just watching the Browns and the fucking Bucks in overtime. So the Dolphins game just ended. So Mike McDaniel hasn't answered any questions yet. And hopefully that's something I could check out by the time I'm done rambling about what we saw there on the field. But in the first half, let's talk. Well, let's do negative first. Let's go second half first. Because that's what just ended, and that's what everyone's going to want to talk about. And then I'll circle back around to the first half, which was amazing, scrumptious first half of football. In the second half, it was obvious that the O-line, even in the first half, this O-line was not blocking the Texans' D-line well. The run game wasn't really going anywhere. Tua had to escape some sacks at some points. And then towards the end of the half, there was that sack where Tua bent weird and he was all right. They put him out in the second half, which I agreed with because you can't just take out your starting quarterback because you're nervous about him getting injured. If you need him, you need him. And what frustrated me today is they took him out so early and they let the Texans get back in the game and they continued to just play incompetent offense. And really, I would have liked to see how this game would have went had they kept Tua in there. I understand why they took him out because obviously at the end of the day, they still won, even though they took him out. But it got too close for comfort there at the end when you're throwing in completions on first down up by 20 fucking points. I mean, really, what are you trying to prove there? I mean, I get it if you had Tua in, you felt confident. But having your third string quarterback who looked lost in this game, by the way, against the Texans. He did not look good. Clear difference between Skylar Thompson offense and Tua offense. And I know that's not really a fair comparison because we're dealing with a team that came out with their pedal on the metal and then a team that came out in the second half just coasting to the end. Which, if they didn't have any injuries or didn't get anyone hurt, I would say that's great. But they still ended up having two injuries, which could or could not be big deals. I feel like with Austin Jackson, even without him, their offensive line was playing great. So it's not as much I'm worried about him as much as I'm worried about Armstead, who I heard threw a thumbs up at the crowd as he left the stadium. And yeah, so hopefully he's all good and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can't move the fucking football. I missed my entire parlay today. I got one. I went Ravens, Bears +7, and who was it else that lost? I don't know, some other fucking team that lost. I can't get a fucking win in betting. And I just got sidetracked. Can you tell I have severe ADHD? The Miami Dolphins did end up winning in the end, though. So that's the most important thing, is being first in the AFC East. We're going to learn a lot more about this team next week when they play a Super Bowl contender at their home stadium in San Francisco. Because this game, it really felt like it was the second half, the real Dolphins. I don't know. They played really soft, and it felt like they just kind of coasted to the end there. But the first half, let's talk about the first half, man, because that was interesting. So, first thing I'd like to say is I'm so glad Xavier Howard got a touchdown. He needed that. Man, he needed that. He hasn't had many big plays this season. No picks yet, but just to get him in the end zone. And also one play where they threw it out of the end zone. He made a great play on that ball. He still got it, man. He just hasn't had many opportunities this season. So, I mean, that's the reality of it for Mr. Xavier Howard. And the next thing is the defense played great. They were getting pressure all in the quarterback's face. I mean, the Texans looked like a peewee football team compared to the Dolphins in that first half. Tua hits Waddle on that deep ball after almost hitting Sherfield on the one before. Tyreek gets some good catches. I mean, it really was just the perfect first half. I was smiling ear to ear. It was a great time. My son, who's an infant, seemed to enjoy it. And, yeah, it couldn't have gotten any better. So after that first half, I guess I was kind of sitting there with the expectation that the Dolphins were just so much better that they were going to score no matter what. And they were going to probably win 50-0, 55-0. That's what I thought when I seen Tua get back out there in the second half and get that PI and that completion. But the O-line, man, I think it just scared McDaniel too much for him to justify keeping Tagovailoa out there, who looked great. I feel like he missed some passes, but I think a lot of this is drops. There was a couple Waddle drops, but then Waddle made up for it on a deep ball. It felt like Tua let his nuts hang again. Almost had 300 yards in that first half alone, man. I mean, there's nothing bad you could say about Tua this game other than the called back interception, and they need to punch it in when they get down towards the goal line. That's for certain. But I mean, you end a half 30-0. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful when that happens, and that's what they built the lead for. So that's what those points are for. You build the lead so if the other team scores, you still win. And ultimately, they put those points to good use because they didn't score a single. I don't even know. I think they had one first down, or no, they had 2 or 3 at the most. I mean, they had a real tough time in that second half with Skylar Thompson, even with Tua, man. That O-line wasn't holding up, but I still believe in that O-line. It's one tough game. Oh, and Brady's getting sacked. This game might end in a fucking tie, ladies and gentlemen. So now I'm going to check and see if Mike McDaniel has stepped up and said anything yet. Just out of curiosity, because I'd like to hear what he has to say about this performance. Let's see. Austin Jackson got her. Oh, he was questionable to return, so I guess Austin Jackson's probably all right. Let's see what else we got. Tua at the half was 20 of 34 for 287 and a touchdown. I've seen that. That's All right. I guess Mike McDaniel hasn't said anything yet. I was kind of hoping for some Mike McDaniel stuff. Well, let's see if he's talking right now. I think I could look that up. Let's see. Let's go to the Dolphins YouTube channel and see if Mike McDaniel is talking right now, which I am hoping for. And then if so, I'll pause this, listen to it, and we'll see what he's got to say. No, I don't think so. It would have came up when I looked up Dolphins on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. So Mike McDaniel not talking yet, but I'm going to listen to hear what he has to say because I feel like there needs to be some addressing that second half and taking Tua out so early, and it got dangerous there. It got dangerous. But that's all I really have to say about this football game. I don't think we learned too much. I think we've seen a lot of what we already know, and that's Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback right now. He's playing fucking lights out at another decent game. No picks. Would have liked to see another touchdown or two, but I'm being selfish, you know. I'm just like I've become so Tua hungry lately that every drive that doesn't end with Tua throwing a touchdown pass, I'm disappointed because I just want to see that number keep climbing and then critics fucking zipping their mouths shut. And I think today is another example of that. I would have liked to see him play more, but 299 touchdown, no picks, good for Tua. Another good game, another win. Dolphins first in the AFC East, and next week they're going to in San Francisco. I definitely want to do a pregame show on that. I was gonna do one for this game, but it stunk. It stunk. I didn't even bother uploading it, and all of my videos stink. So it was that bad. There's just not much to say. I felt like it was a free win, and I think the Dolphins cashed in on that free win today and knocked off some rust after the bye week. And really, I'm not worried at all. A lot of people are going to be worried. I'm not going to overreact. This Dolphin team is exactly who they were against the Browns and exactly who they were in this first half. I appreciate anyone who's stopping by. Dolphins first place. Go fuck yourself.